Okay, just about the top question we always get asked: how much is it going to cost? The bottom line is, it depends how awkward you are. It depends how awkward your ex is. Look, if you come to an agreement with your ex, you don't even need to go to court at all. It's going to cost you zero. If you can't agree anything between yourselves, it's worth going to mediation. Now, mediation does cost, but it's still far cheaper than going to court. If you go to court, the application fee would typically be something like £232 if it's a C100 application. Don't quote me on that, they keep changing the fees. That'll be things like for contact, residence, that sort of stuff. Now, that £232 covers the cost of the entire case. So that will be the judge, use of the court buildings, the clerks there. So when people say stuff like it being a whole industry just to get as much money out of parents as possible, remember, the cost of a court case from the court's point of view is actually a loss. It costs a lot of money. If you decide to use a solicitor, you may have to pay £250 an hour plus VAT. It's worth remembering that you are likely going to get a free half hour of your solicitor, but then they're going to want you to do something like put £500 plus VAT on account, and they're going to want you to top up that £500 every month. So if they do £300 worth of letters and form filling, they're going to want you to add £300 in at the end of the month. If it turns out that you've got a big court hearing coming up, say maybe a 2-day trial or 3-day trial, they're going to ask for money up front on that. Now do the math yourself. If how much do you think £250 for 3 days is going to cost? £250 an hour for 3 days. The costs really start racking up. If you decide you're not going to communicate with your ex directly and it's between your solicitor and their solicitor, that's going to rack the costs up even more. If you decide you're going to break the court order and your ex takes you back to court, it's going to cost you more. Or if your ex breaks the order, you have to pay for a new application fee and you're going to pay a solicitor to do that. Look, I've known people that have spent tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands on a court case. I've seen people decide that they can't go on anymore because they're financially ruined, and although they know that what's going on is now not in their kids' best interests, they're out of cash. I've seen people grind each other down until one of them gives up financially. I've seen it break families up, new families, step families. Look, the bottom line is this: if you want to avoid paying court fees, work something out with your ex. Now, I know you're going to say, but my ex is an awful person, and you may or may not be, may be right. I don't know the answer to that. But the bottom line is, the more you go to court, the more it's going to cost. So in answer to this question, you want a straight answer? It could cost as little as zero. It could cost as much as hundreds of thousands of pounds. Whether that is the case, whether you want to work things out amicably with your ex and avoid paying your solicitor's kids' school fees, that's great. If you want to go to court, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg if you let it. That's why I always get people to represent themselves. It's what I've been doing for 16 years. I hope this helps.